Hello and welcome to Katrinas Creations. This is our Friday edition, and today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to use double pointed needles. But the first thing I thought I would tell you about is a little bit about different knitting needles and how old they are. Surprisingly, straight knitting needles that we all grew up using are not the oldest knitting needle. Those particular knitting needles did not come into use until the mid-1700s. Double pointed needles are the oldest knitting needles in our little knitting arsenal. Out of all of them, they are the oldest. There is actually a painting of, I forget the exact name, it's like the Virgin Mother knitting or Madonna knitting, something like that, but it's from the 1300s, and she is knitting using double pointed needles in the painting. The painting itself dates, like I said, to the 1300s. The oldest knitting that is still in existence is a pair of socks, or a sock, and that is in Egypt, and it dates to the 11th century. And so that would have also been done on, of course, double pointed needles. The reason why double pointed needles are actually the oldest is because now we can knit flat, but at that time, everything was knit, anything you did, even if it was like, say for instance, a scarf, it was done in circular form. It was not knitted flat like it is now. So of course now we have double pointed needles, we have the straight knitting needles, and we have circular knitting needles. Circular knitting needles were patented in the US in 1918. They said they possibly existed in Europe a little earlier than that, but probably not much earlier than the 1900s. So just a little tidbits before we get started, because I thought that it would be interesting. Now, double pointed needles come in different lengths. I have two different lengths. I have these that are wood, and these are 4-inch wooden bamboo needles. These are metal ones, and these are 8 inches. They come in, you can get them in different lengths. Predominantly they come in 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12 inch. Although I can't imagine what you would use the larger ones beyond 8 inches for. So I tend to use the smaller 4-inch ones for like ankles on socks. Although I will be honest, I don't care for bamboo ones, because as you get into like these aren't too bad. These are 3.5 millimeter, and as are the metal ones. But when you get into some of the smaller sizes, it's like knitting with toothpicks, and I have snapped so many sets of the wooden knitting double pointed needles, and I am not a tight knitter, but I'm not a wood needle person. I tend to like metal for all of my knitting. So I'm going to turn this around, and I'm going to show you how we go about doing the double pointed needles. So if I had a circular needle that had a little bit longer cable than this, but that was the right size needle itself, this is a 3, and I needed a US 4. Had I had that, I probably would have used that instead of the double pointed needles, just because it's less cumbersome. I used this small circular needle when I did just the cuff itself. That's when I changed over, because it was just too tiny. So we're going to do the setup for the second sleeve to show you how I get them set up onto these needles, and we'll get started from there. So I currently have the sleeve on a stitch holder, and I'm going to be picking up those stitches. Now, your double pointed needles come in sets of 5. You're always going to have one needle that is your working needle. So you have 4 that you're actually going to be attaching to your work. Now in my case, because this is small, if I was doing a hat, I would use all 4 of these needles. Because this isn't that much, I'm only going to use 3, so one of these needles I'm just going to set aside. Again, you're going to keep one empty at all times, and that is your working needle. The rest I'm going to take off of my stitch holder, and I'm going to transfer the stitches evenly onto the 3 needles. So let me move the camera down a little bit closer for you. So I'm just going to slide these stitches here, and I'm just going to begin sliding them onto the needles. And this does not need to be exact as far as, if you're making socks, your needles will need to have the exact amount of stitches all the way across on each needle, just because you're doing heel gussets and you're doing there's a specific top and a bottom, so it is crucial then. But for what I'm doing here, for just a sleeve, I'm just going to roughly get them evenly dispersed between the 3 needles. So there, I've got some on that one. I'll put a couple more. So I get some on, I'm just going to move them to the middle of the needle so they won't fall off either side. And I'll pick up the next one and put some more on there. All right, so I have the 3. Like I said, I could have used 4, but because this isn't many stitches, I went ahead and just did it with 3. Now I've attached a brown strand of yarn here because I'm doing a striping, and this next row would be brown. Now, because I'm going in a circle, I need to mark where my round begins. Now, the thing that is different with regular knitting needles as opposed to double pointed needles is you don't want to put your marker on the end here, because it's going to, of course, fall right off. So if you are going to use a marker, you want to put it in like 1 stitch in, so that it's not going to go fall off or anything. So you're going to begin, and you're just going to knit across the way you would with either straight knitting needles or circular, whatever you're using. You're going to work with your working needle. So you're going to work on this section first, because this is where my yarn is attached. And I'm just going to push the other 2 kind of to the back. And I am just going to knit across this needle the way I would with any other set of needles that I was using. So I'm going to go all the way across. We've gone all the way across that set, so you can now see that my working needle, the one that was empty, now has stitches, and this one has now become my working needle. So now I'm just going to move my work. If you hold it this way, you can see this is the next needle group that I'm going to work with. And this is where you just want to be a little careful. You're going to knit across, but you want to make sure that you don't end up with a lot of space between these stitches, like here. It's called laddering when that happens. So when you do this first stitch, you want to pull it tight. So there it is. This is the yarn coming off of this needle, and I'm going to begin across this needle here, but I want to really pull that first stitch really snug so that I don't end up with space in between here. You'll have a gap, and it will look like you dropped stitches. So I'm going to go all the way across again. And if you're doing decreases, it's going to be the same as you would with any other set of needles. You know, if you're doing knit two together, you're going to knit 2 together. This is just your working needles that you're on right now. Your other ones are in the back. I'm going to go all the way across. Now I am just doing stockinette, but for this next section, I'm going to show you what you would do if you were purling. So I've knit all the way across. This was my empty needle, the working needle. It is now full of stitches, and this needle now becomes my working needle. And if you look at this, since it's in two different colors, you can really see it. You can see very clear that I've gone here, and now I'm going to turn, and I'm going to do this last section. So here you can see the triangle. This is the section I'm working on next. And this is where you want to, again, make sure you get it tight so that you don't have a laddering situation where this wideness here creates a big gap. So here's the yarn it's coming off of. Here's my new working needle. Now, because the pattern I'm doing, like I said, I would be doing stockinette all the way across, so I would be knitting, but I'm going to show you what it looks like to do a purl coming onto a new section here. You're going to move your yarn forward in front, and then you're going to pick up that stitch with your working yarn, and you're going to begin purling the same as you would any other knitting. But again, this first stitch you want to really snug tight so that you don't have a gap between here, and then you would go ahead and purl all the way across. Now when you are purling, you do want to make sure you get that yarn in front all the way, because if you try to purl with the yarn behind like this, of course you're going to have a loop in the wrong spot. So you do want to make sure that you pull it in front of the yarn you're just coming, or the needle you're just coming off of, as well as in front of the new working needle to do that, to do your next stitch. So I'm going to move it back here since I'm again doing a knitting stitch all the way across. So it's in the back there. I tend to slide it just so I can get it tightly behind that one. Pull it up, give it a nice pull. It's going to seem like you're making that stitch extra tight, but it does loosen up, and you don't, again, want to have a laddering situation. And I try to hold it tight the first couple stitches, and then I loosen back up to my regular tension. And I'll show you what that looks like. So by holding it tight, you can see that the stitch I came off of from the previous needle onto this one, there's not a big gap. Otherwise, like I said, you would have it would almost look like you dropped a stitch all the way down. So I'm going to go back across here, and I'll be back where I started. So I've now gone all the way around and back to where I started at. I'll hold this up so you can see. You can see I've got the brown thread all the way, you can see I've got the brown yarn all the way around, and I'm now ready to start the next row. And so I'm going to continue this method until I get my decreases down, and then I can begin the cuff of my sleeve and be finished. So I hope you have found this helpful. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. It really does help the analytics on YouTube. And I will see you tomorrow, where you can see me modeling this for, yeah, it should be finished by then. At least that's the plan. So make sure you tune in tomorrow to see that. Thanks for watching, everybody.